It is Christmas Day. It's a Merry Christmas, spelled M-A-R-Y. Strange play on words. The festival of Christmas did not really begin until sometime in the 4th century, about 325, because there was this is a little history for you, Christmas present. The big celebration, of course, in Christianity was the resurrection, and the more you emphasize the resurrection, the more you emphasize the divinity of Jesus. And what the church found out, of course, was that there were many people who did not believe Jesus was human, okay, as well as divine. What is known as the hypostatic union, the full human and full divine Jesus. That's a mystery. Don't ask. I don't know. We'll find out. But in order to emphasize the humanity of Jesus, he had to be born of a woman. So they go right to Luke's gospel and Matthew's gospel, emphasizing that Mary is the mother of God. That's really why it's a Merry Christmas. It's celebrating the birth of Jesus because Mary is his mother. We celebrate his birth, but we're really celebrating he was born of a woman. Mary. Mary now heading for Bethlehem, according to the law, according to the requirements of being enrolled. Hold that for a moment. I was praying with these days, that in Genesis, the first and second chapters of Genesis, after creation, on the 6th day, creating human beings, God looked down and saw it was very good. Hold that. Because that makes God looking down on us. In another play on words, to look down on people is to have pity on them or feel superior to them. And human beings felt that way toward God, that God was supreme and way up there, and we are way down here and not very much. Always wondering, how does God see us? How does God relate with us? That's a mystery. We don't know. Maybe we have to be very good in order for God not to look down on us as poor, decrepit, pure dust. Now we're back in Bethlehem. And the poorest people, the shepherds, are notified. Coming attractions. You come and stand there and look down at this Jesus who now looks up at us. Us, our humanity. The God that said, very good. To himself, you did very good work, Genesis says. You did very good work. It's very good. What we celebrate today is the intensification that God does not look down on us, but has been born as a man, of a woman, looking us straight in the eye and saying, blessings, you are more than very good. I am asking you, by my birth, to let me look you in the eye and say, you are not just very good, you are Christ good. And that's the surprise. We love to get presents at Christmas, and especially the surprises. Christmas, I'm afraid, can get very boring, especially if you've been celebrating Christmas for weeks before Christmas, that you're kind of glad to get Christmas done with. It's tedious. And in a way it's boring because as somebody is a little joke. Somebody said, yeah, I go to church now and then, but I don't like to go to church because every time I go to church, they're always singing the same songs. And I said, what songs are they? Well, you know, Silent Night, O Come All Ye Faithful. He goes to church once a year, and of course they always sing the same songs. What could be new this Christmas? Things get boring because they're not new. People get boring. Stories get boring. What's new? Well, what could be new this Christmas? What could be a surprise? What could be unboring about Christmas? It's going to take silence, silent night. When the world felt its worth, there are presents these days and surprises, and they are wrapped to intensify the anticipation and the giving and the receiving. What is God saying to us about God in sending us Jesus, the intensification of creation? That's really what it is. God is not looking down on us saying, very good. He's looking straight at us. That's a surprise. And looking us in the eye and in the heart and saying, you are way more than very good. You are Christ good. Christ has being unwrapped within you. And asking you to receive that for Christmas. That could be new. And it's a new every day because every day we have the temptation to look down on ourselves. Every day is a Christ birthday in us. Well, that's a surprise. That God looks through Christ right in our eye and saying the same thing that he says, but we hear it differently because every day we can say, I have reason to look down on myself. And he says, look up. Let me look right in your eye and say, you are more than very good. You are my sister. You are my brother. You are my family. I am in you. Unwrap me, please. Unwrap me and maybe this Christmas, today, these days, you might help somebody, a friend, a family member, by looking them right in the eye and saying, Christmas blessing to you. Let me be somehow more intimate with you than usual. Let me spend time with you. In some way, not looking down at you, but looking heart to heart. Because you are my Christ sister, you are my Christ brother, and I am the same to you. I am Christ to you. And what I want to do is help you receive the gift that you are, and the gift that will be a surprise to others in how you live, not looking down on yourself, not looking saying, I am very good. But Christ is very beautiful in me and very beautiful in you if we can be unwrapped. Giving birth, a Merry Christmas, a motherly gift of God through the instrumentality of the Mother of Jesus. It can be a Merry Christmas. January 1st, 2023, the octave of the birth of Jesus, Christmas, and the celebration on this day of the motherhood of Jesus, which we also celebrated at Christmas. January is the end and the beginning. Janus was the Roman god of doorways, gates, entrances. And he had two faces. He faced backwards and forwards, which is what we do around this time of year. How was the year? What did we let in? What did we prevent from entering? So it's the past. Our wins, losses, successes, failures. And we look forward. We wish people a happy new year. And you can say, good day, hope you have a good weekend. When we were studying philosophy, of course, we would say, have a happy existence. The totality of it. Essence. The gospel today is really wonderful, kind of sense of completion. The angels appeared to the shepherds, and they were the poorest of society. They were kind of out of it, kept to themselves, looked down upon, and they were the first. They were the first entrance into the new existence, the new era, the new way of God coming to them. See, one of the beauties is that when you have a God way up there, then you have to go somewhere else. Let's go to the temple, to the river, to the tree, to the sacred place. Now, the shepherds come down the hills, and they're going to a holy place because the holy has come to that place. A poor stable, poor shepherds. Next Sunday we'll have the wealthy coming and bringing wonderful things. But the first visitors through the gate, so that January or Janus, we look backwards to all the ways that God has hinted at who God was. And we would go to, as human beings, we go there. And now the holy has come to us, and maybe we find out that the poor, like the stable itself, the empty womb of the Virgin Mary, the poor are more receptive to the visits of angels in the shepherd fields, and they go to receive this gift that is wrapped in swaddling clothes. And so we have to want to be poor enough to receive what the manger received, what Mary received, what the shepherds received, what the poverty of the world is receiving. One of the aspects today is the feast of the motherhood of Jesus, the motherhood of God. We celebrated that last week as well. The Merry Christmas, if you remember. I've been praying with this. What if Mary, we got to be careful and be sure to listen to this, and I'm not saying Mary is God. Mary was not God. Mary was the mother of Jesus, who was God. But what if Mary, who pondered all these things in her heart, was a Janus in her own way, looking backward at God's faithfulness? As a Jewish woman, she would have known all the prophecies and all the activities of the covenanting God. And then looking forward, being the gate of shepherds entering. What if Mary is a revelation of the motherhood of God? She's not God, no problems. But we call God him just out of convenience, out of conditioning. But what if Mary is some revelation of the loving tenderness of a mother for the world which is her child? And like a mother, God can't make us children do this and do that, but loves us like a mother. Keeps turning over in God's heart, like Mary kept turning over all these things, that Mary took care of Jesus as God takes care of us. What if that's our prayer? That the motherhood of God is God. The motherhood of God is celebrated on this feast in the person of Mary. But what if God is like Mary, giving us Jesus? And giving us Jesus in our poverty. Are we available? Are we receptive enough? Do we have too many things clenched in our hands and we can't receive Jesus? So maybe this first day of the year, the first day of the rest of our lives, the yes that she said is the yes that she still says. I will give birth to all those who are created, as it says in John's Gospel, all things were created in him. Then she is giving birth to us as a mother gives birth to a child, as Mary gave birth to Jesus, as God's motherhood gives life to us and loves us in the poverty that allows us to receive him. Now that's complicated, but Janus is looking forward, not just like we do, is are good things going to happen? She's looking forward to our growing up as God's motherhood does too. So it's a backwards and forwards festival. Mary, the mother of God, Mary, the mother of Jesus, God, the mother of us all. It's all one feast. But Mary isn't God. Just remember that. The church gets challenged about that. She was the mother of Jesus, who was the revelation of God's love for us. Let him be born in us, Mary, Mother of God. Amen.